Hi, welcome back. Our previous lesson was on price elasticity of supply. Today we'll be looking at the determinant of price elasticity of supply. So what we are looking at here is what are the factors that determines whether a good will have an elastic supply or inelastic supply. Now the first determinant of price elasticity of supply is inventories. Inventories make supply more elastic. In other words, if your business product is easily stored, then you can use inventories to provide the flexibility to respond quickly to price changes. So quantity supplied can respond quickly to price changes, which will yield more elastic supply. So if you're selling a good that you can store easily, for example, equipment, machines, phones, or non-edible products that you can easily store, then your supply will become more elastic. What this means is that in period A, if you produce a good, you can supply it or store it. So if you're selling a good that can easily be stored, then when you produce in period A, you can decide not to supply all of it to the market, but to store some of it. Now in period B, this inventory was going to make your supply more elastic, which means that if there's any increase in price and you want to increase the quantity you supply, you already have inventories that you just dip into and supply in the market, as compared to another business that cannot easily store their products, or say selling perishable goods that cannot easily be stored. Their supply might not be very elastic as compared to a business that has more inventories. So if you're selling a good that you can easily store and sell it in another period, then your supply curve will be much more elastic, meaning you can quickly respond to price changes by increasing the quantity that you supply to the market. Now, the next factor that determines the price elasticity of supply is the availability of variable inputs. So if variable inputs are easily available, your supply curve will be elastic. What this means is that to increase production, you have to increase your input. So if you are the sort of producer whose input is easily available, then it's also easy for you to increase production. So two examples are restaurant versus airlines. So for an airline, pilots are quite difficult to get as compared to restaurant supplies. Pilots are highly trained people. They are scarce, and to be able to increase the service of airlines, it will be relatively more difficult for to obtain a pilot as compared to somebody operating a restaurant who could easily go to the market and buy more groceries, or hire an unskilled worker as a waiter or as receptionist. So comparing these two businesses, it's easier for restaurants to obtain inputs to increase the production of goods that they sell, as compared to airlines to obtain pilots to increase the services that they provide. So this will make restaurant supply more elastic than airline supply. Now the next factor that determines the price elasticity of supply is extra capacity for your fixed input. Now if you are a business owner and even if you can easily get your variable input, if it's difficult for you to expand your fixed input, or you don't have extra capacity, then it will be difficult for you to increase supply. So if a business is already using its fixed input at full capacity, it will be difficult to respond even if a business can easily access more of its variable input. So again, let's look at restaurants. In our first example, we said that restaurants can easily obtain variable input. In this case, restaurant supplies or groceries. But if a restaurant does not have extra kitchen space, then even buying more groceries or hiring more waiters, it will be very difficult for that restaurant to operate as compared to another restaurant that has huge space and it can easily adjust to supply. So even if you can increase your variable input, if you are limited in your fixed input, you don't have extra capacity in regards to your fixed input, then that is also going to put a limitation on how quickly you can react to the market when the prices of the good change, and that will affect the elasticity of supply. Now, the next factor that determines price elasticity of supply is entry and exit. So with easy entry and exit, supply becomes more elastic. So when the price of a good rises, new businesses may enter the market, and when it falls, some businesses may exit. Market supply will be more elastic when it's easier for a business to enter or exit a market. So entry into the market affects supply, and exit into the market also affects supply. So when you are operating a business, that the rules or any factor that governs entry and exit are quite restricting, such that it's not easy for a business to enter the market or exit the market, the supply becomes more inelastic. This means that you are not able to react quickly to changes in price. But on the flip side, if the business has easy entry and exit rules, then it's easy for supply to adjust. So, for instance, when the price of a good increases, it's not just existing firms that will expand production, but businesses that were not in the market previously will now enter the market, which will in total increase the quantity supplied. But if it's difficult for a business to enter into the market, then it means the quantity supply is going to be limited or not very responsive to changes in price. For instance, restaurants and airlines again. So for restaurants, to start a restaurant, even though it might involve a huge sum of money, it's not as big as what you need to start an airline. So for a restaurant, maybe you need a few £1,000 to rent a space, hire a few workers, buy some groceries. But for an airline, you need a plane, pilot, and a lot of investment that take billions of pounds that often individuals are not even able to venture unless corporations. So comparing these two businesses, it's easier for businesses to enter the restaurant market than the airline market, which will make the restaurant more elastic than the airline market. Now, the next thing that affects the price elasticity of supply is time. So over time, supply becomes more elastic, because price elasticity of supply is typically larger when viewed over time as compared to viewed in a shorter period of time. Supply adjustment often takes time. It takes time to buy new materials, to hire people, to make an investment, to build factories, as compared to just a short period of time when you have to make a decision in one day as compared to 1 year. When you find out that the price of a good has increased, you are more restricted if you have to make a decision within a shorter period of time. But then if you have a longer period of time, then you can make the necessary adjustment to accommodate for the increase or decrease in price. So supply becomes more elastic over time because of adjustments that firms are able to make over time as compared to a shorter period of time. So this is all that we have for determinant of price elasticity. Our next lesson will be on how taxes on sellers shape equilibrium outcome. If you enjoyed today's lesson, consider subscribing. Thank you.